Nchini Kenya, kilimo cha mboga na matunda hutegemewa na wakulima wengi wa kiwango cha chini. Hata hivyo, inakadiriwa kuwa kati ya 40% na 50% ya mboga na matunda huharibika.
We lose around 14%, generally for all food commodities, 14% from the time of production to the retail stage, and then another 17% from the time of retail to the consumer. That is for all food commodities. But for fruits and vegetables, the losses are higher. The reason why we have higher losses in fruits and vegetables is because they are more perishable.
Hali hiyo sio tu swala la maadili, lakini pia linazua wasiwasi wa kiuchumi, kwani uharibifu huo unapunguza rasilimali kwenye mazingira.
Food loss and waste has a big impact on various areas. We know that we use water to produce food, energy is used to produce food, so that in itself is a big impact to the environment. But we also have an impact on food security. The other impact is on economic development and the environment. If we look at food security, for example, a report by UNEP in 2021 indicated that every Kenyan throws away about 99 kilos of food every year. Adding this up, it comes to like 5.2 tons of food wasted every year. The same report also indicates that 1 in every 3 Kenyans is food poor. So if we were able to save all this food that is going to waste, we would be able to, deal with the issues of hunger. We would be able to deal with the issues of food security, which we know is a big challenge in this country. We are trying to produce more, but also if we could reduce the food that's going to waste, we would be able to deal with the issue of food insecurity.
Mboga na matunda ni mimea ambayo huharibika haraka mno, hivyo kufanya vigumu kupunguza au kuzuia uharibifu wa chakula. Katika kiwango cha uzalishaji, vyakula vingi huharibika kwa sababu ya wadudu, magonjwa, uhifadhi, kilimo duni na mbinu mbovu wakati wa kuchuna mboga na kuvuna matunda. Sababu hizo hupunguza viwango na usalama wa mazao, hivyo kupunguza thamani yake masokoni.
When you look at the losses at the farm level, for example, some of the losses you see actually emanate from the field, how the crop was produced. We have issues of pest and disease management. If it's not done properly in the farm, you'll find it manifesting after harvest. Case in study, for example, in mango value chain, we have a lot of losses attributed to the fruit fly, to the mango weevil. You see, those are issues in the field, but they will affect the commodity after harvest.
Some of the farmers are not aware of the good post-harvesting management practices, and therefore they do not do pre-curing, either because they lack the equipment or because they lack the stores.
Kutokana na hayo, wakulima wanahimizwa kutumia mbinu bora za kilimo ambazo zitahakikisha usalama na ubora wa chakula, kudhibiti mazingira pamoja na kushughulikia maslahi ya mkulima. Mbinu hizo ni pamoja na matumizi ya mbegu zilizoidhinishwa na kuhifadhiwa kwa muda kabla ya upanzi, matumizi ya maji safi ya unyunyiziaji yaliyopimwa ili kuepuka wadudu, kunakili kwa sababu ya ufahamu, matumizi ya mbinu mseto za kukabiliana na wadudu na hatimaye kushirikiana na wakulima ili kuhakikisha kuwa kuna soko tayari kwa mazao yao.
We have a disconnect sometimes between the production and the market, so that it takes a very long time for the food to reach the market, but also sometimes the linkage between the production and the market is not there, which means farmers on one side have a lot of food that they have produced, on the other side the demand cannot get it because of that disconnect. So there is also need to be able to make that connection. Another reason why we have food losses, if we look at the issue of pesticide residues, which has become a big challenge in this country today, sometimes farmers apply the wrong chemicals, not observe the post-harvest intervals, and therefore when that food gets to the market, for example, when we are looking at export market, it is rejected, and that leads to more losses. So the issue of good agricultural practices is very key in terms of reducing post-harvest losses.
Ripoti zinaonyesha kuwa asilimia kubwa ya chakula huharibika katika awamu ya ugavi na kabla ya kufikishiwa wateja. Sababu zinajumuisha kuchelewa kufikishwa kwa chakula masokoni kwa sababu ya miundo msingi mibovu, uhaba wa magari ya uchukuzi na uhaba wa vifaa vya kuhifadhi, hasa mitambo ya kudumisha baridi. Hali hii inasababishwa na nini?
At the supply level, we have poor transport arrangements in that we are using open trucks that are not refrigerated. The differences in temperatures are very positive to great microbial activity, and this one ends up in a lot of fruits and vegetables getting wasted.
Also the issues of infrastructure. We look at roads. Sometimes the food that is produced is not able to get to the market on time. We also do not have enough storage facilities, cold storage facilities to be able to handle, to keep food for longer periods of time.
Tutaboresha vipi usimamizi mzuri wa chakula katika awamu hii?
Based on the conditions in our open air markets where you see food displayed on the ground without proper structures to be able to ensure that that food is safe, many consumers are also discouraged from buying that food because they are not sure of its safety. There are all these elements of whether there is dust, there is water, and we know also in some areas this food starts to rot and may attract rodents that could further worsen the food safety situation. And when consumers do not buy this food, that is the same food that goes to waste in this market. So we experience a lot of losses many times because of things that could be controlled by having the right structures in place, especially in our markets.
Katika awamu ya matumizi, mboga na matunda yaliyohitimisha awamu ya mwisho ni bora kwa matumizi, ila yasipoliwa yataharibika ama huachwa kuharibika na kutupwa jalalani. Hali hii husababisha hasara ya pesa, kupungua kwa rasilimali kama vile maji, ardhi na uchafuzi wa mazingira.
At the consumption level, we find that the consumers sometimes they buy too much, and this one ends up getting lost within either at the house level or at the household level, or even at the table.
Apart from just buying excess food or food without checking the labels, there's that confusion. We say it's confusion in labeling. The manufacturers are also confusing the consumers. Why? Sometimes when you go to buy your juice, there's expiry date, sell by, use before, best before. I mean, do you understand what those mean? You don't. So you see, for example, you go and say, okay, it's best before today's 29th, and it's written best before 29th, right? And you think, it is not good. But you see, it's not true. When it says best before, it means the optimum quality is best before 29th, right? But after 29th, it doesn't mean it's not fit for use. It's just that it's not as optimum as it would have been by 29th, right? But what do most of us do? Best before, dustbin, you see? So there's a bit of consumer awareness of what these labels mean, because that has causing a lot of wastage at the household level. But again, like I said, when you buy, manage your stock. You don't have to buy food that you're not going to use, right? Even if you can afford it, you don't have to.
Masoko ya bidhaa ndogondogo nchini Kenya ni vyanzo vya mboga na matunda mazuri. Hata hivyo, magunia mengi ya matunda na mboga ambayo hayajauzwa hutupwa mitaani na kuacha kuoza. Kwa mfano, jijini Nairobi mboga na matunda huchafua mazingira. Hali hiyo ni mzigo kwa mfumo uzoaji taka ambao tayari unalemea idara husika.
Food waste that is generated especially from the market, it causes a clogging of waterways. We also find that we use a lot of resources in terms of garbage collection, and that is money that could be used in other ways. That is actually an opportunity cost because of what we are having as food waste.
Katika kiwango cha uundaji wa sera, serikali inafanya nini kuhakikisha kuwa mfumo wa kuzalisha mboga na matunda ni thabiti na endelevu?
With policies that look at value addition, that look at managing post-harvest losses, for example, providing storage, cold storage for fruits and vegetables, providing pack houses for farmers who are producing fruits and vegetables, supporting in terms of policies and tax incentives for people who are doing value addition in processing. So a lot is already being done, but still, when it comes to the role of government, we could look more at infrastructure, for example, roads.
We can increase on our food waste management, one, by by making sure that we are involving the communities, like in the Korogosho market, we are involving the groups that we find there, and they are used to making manure, compost manure. They are also making briquettes from the waste. And this is one way of dealing with the problem. Another way that we can also deal with the issue is that we have to do advocacy such that consumers are only buying what they require, and therefore we will not have issues with storage. At the distribution level, like in the supermarkets, we are also encouraging that have discounted vegetables, such that if we have vegetables on the shelf for 2 or 3 days, on the 3rd or 4th day they are discounted, and therefore instead of going to waste, they are used as food.
As a country, we need to come to terms with the fact that food loss and waste is happening, and we need to reduce it. And there's no one person action here. It's concerted effort. Start by building capacity of everybody to know how to handle loss and waste at their own stage. Make post-harvest technologies, for example, accessible to those that need to use them. If there are fruits and vegetables, we need to really encourage small-scale processing to transform these perishable commodities into what we call shelf-stable products.
The event that you find yourself with excess food that is going bad, we have so many needy people that would, consume that food. Why don't we have a mechanism of also being able to donate some of the food that we feel we are not going to use and will go bad before we consume it in our homes?